coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast. What makes you what makes you smarter? I almost said what makes you famous, which is my other podcast. If you'd like to be on that, I encourage you to check it out. What makes you famous? Hashtag what makes you famous. But this is what makes you smarter. It's KeysDAN. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Let me say it one more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. Speaking of partying with the people, tonight I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. It's my regular Friday night gig, the video dance party karaoke jam. You know, the place to be. Yeah, it's always a good time. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. They got 10 pool tables. Now, I just got informed there's no pool tournament tonight, so those 10 pool tables will be open wide for everyone who wants to play some pool. Usually the pool tournament takes up most of the tables, and then the people that want to come in and do some casual pool playing, they're limited to the maybe like one or two tables that are left open. So you got 10 diamond style pool tables to play on tonight at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. And then tomorrow night, I'm at the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas. So come on out there. They got a big room, the stage, huge stage. You'll be sharing it with me in the video dance party karaoke jam. Now, the Rab starts tonight at 8 p.m., and then the Choctaw VFW starts tomorrow night. I think it's around 9 p.m. I usually get there a little bit early, but I think it's 9 p.m. is when it starts because the sun has been going down a whole lot later, and people around that area, they hang around at the lake until the very last minute, and then they come out and have a few drinky drinks over at the Choctaw VFW and sing some songy songs. Yeah, I figured I'd keep the flow going. If I was saying drinky drinks, I'd say songy songs. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for for Friday. Now I need to find it. Oh my goodness. I did not get the right one. I got the Thursday one. I need to get the Friday one. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? There it is. Okay. 10 things you need to know today for Friday, August 7th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. All kinds of things going haywire today. Number one, New York Attorney General sues to dissolve the NRA. New York Attorney General Letitia James announced on Thursday that she has filed a lawsuit alleging that the National Rifle Association is, quote, fraught with fraud and abuse, end quote, and seeking, quote, to dissolve the organization in entirety for years of self-dealing and illegal conduct, end quote. James and her office's 18-month investigation found that the gun rights group's senior leadership diverted millions of dollars, quote, into their own pockets, end quote. She described Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre as the, quote, central figure, end quote, accusing him and three others of breaking numerous laws, leading to the loss of $64 million over 3 years. The Attorney General of Washington, D.C. on Thursday also announced a lawsuit against the NRA Foundation for alleged misuse of charitable funds. President Trump called James's lawsuit, quote, terrible, end quote. This is according to NPR and Letitia James. Number two, Trump issues executive orders targeting TikTok and WeChat. President Trump late Thursday issued executive orders banning U.S. companies and individuals from doing business with the Chinese parent companies of video sharing app TikTok and messaging app WeChat. The bans take effect in 45 days, although Trump's orders did not spell out what business transactions will be prohibited. The latest escalation of Trump's clash with Beijing over the tech industry came after Trump administration was this week stepped up its efforts to block, quote, untrusted, end quote, Chinese apps. The Trump administration called WeChat owner Tencent Holdings and TikTok parent ByteDance, quote, significant, end quote, data security threats. China's foreign ministry said the orders violated the rights of Chinese businesses. Quote, absolutely, China will retaliate, end quote, said technology expert James Lewis of Washington-based think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies. This is according to CNET and the Associated Press. Number 3, 1.2 million people filed new unemployment claims. Nearly 1.2 million people filed new unemployment claims last week, the Labor Department reported Thursday, marking the 20th straight week with more than 1 million initial applications for jobless benefits. Economists had expected a slightly worse employment picture with 1.4 million new claims. About 16 million Americans continued to receive unemployment payments, down less than 800,000 from the previous week. A total of 54 million Americans have claimed unemployment since the pandemic started. Economists polled by MarketWatch expected the Labor Department to report Friday that the U.S. economy added 1.7 million jobs in July, down from a gain of 4.8 million jobs in June. The forecasts range widely from 280,000 to 4 million because economists aren't sure how many layoffs have resulted from spiking COVID-19 cases. This is according to NBC News and MarketWatch. Number 4, Ohio Governor DeWine tests positive, then negative for coronavirus. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, Republican, tested positive for the coronavirus on Thursday, then tested negative in a more accurate follow-up test. DeWine, a leading Republican voice warning of the dangers of the pandemic, was tested the first time as part of the required preparation before he was scheduled to meet President Trump on the tarmac of Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. That meeting was scrapped, and DeWine, 73, returned to Columbus, where he tested negative on a second test, as did First Lady Fran DeWine. DeWine's office said it was, quote, confident in the results, end quote. DeWine had no COVID-19 symptoms, and a spokesman said he had been, quote, communicating remotely, end quote, to stay safe. Several weeks ago, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, Republican, became the nation's first governor to test positive. This is according to Cincinnati.com and the New York Times. Number 5, Debate Commission denies Trump request for 5th debate. The nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates announced on Thursday it had denied President Trump's request for a 4th presidential debate ahead of the 2020 election. Trump's campaign had pushed for a 4th debate to be scheduled earlier in the fall, arguing the debates as planned begin after many voters will have already submitted ballots by mail. The committee said it would consider a change if both candidates agreed, but since presumed Democratic candidate Joe Biden has not called for an additional debate, the commission said it, quote, remains committed to the schedule of debates it has planned, end quote. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 6, Trump-endorsed candidate Bill Hagerty wins Tennessee Senate GOP primary. Bill Hagerty won the Tennessee Senate Republican primary on Thursday, defeating the 14 other candidates who hoped to replace retiring GOP Senator Lamar Alexander. Hagerty, 60, was President Trump's first ambassador to Japan and received his endorsement. In recent weeks, the race tightened as orthopedic surgeon Manny Sethi declared he was the true conservative running, not Hagerty. He pointed to Hagerty's friendship with Senator Mitt Romney, Republican Utah, and his past work in private equity as proof of this. In turn, Hagerty claimed that because Sethi made a $50 donation to a Democratic candidate, he wasn't trustworthy. This is according to the New York Times. Number 7, coronavirus relief talks fail to yield deal. Administration leaders and leading Democratic lawmakers ended a 3-hour meeting Thursday night without resolving major differences over a new round of coronavirus relief, despite looming economic damage following the expiration of extra jobless benefits of $600 per week. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said the two sides remained, quote, very far apart, end quote. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York, said Democrats were, quote, very disappointed in the meeting. They were unwilling to meet in the middle, end quote. The Democrat-led House has passed a $3 trillion relief bill, while Senate Republicans are proposing a $1 trillion package. Administration officials said President Trump would take executive action on an economic stimulus if the two sides don't reach a deal Friday. This is according to CNN. Number 8, NOAA warns of extremely active hurricane season in updated forecast. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said in a Thursday forecast that it's anticipating an, quote, extremely active, end quote, Atlantic hurricane season in 2020 that could be, quote, one of the busiest on record, end quote. NOAA said there could be 19 to 25 named storms, up from the average of 12 named storms in a season. Of the up to 25 named storms expected this year, between 7 and 11 will become hurricanes, and 3 to 6 will be, quote, major, end quote, hurricanes, NOAA said. The Atlantic hurricane season is, quote, off to a rapid pace, end quote, with 9 named storms already, though there are usually only about 2 named storms by now, the agency said. The new projection came after last week's Hurricane Isaias left at least 9 people dead and knocked out power for millions. This is according to CNN and the Washington Post. Number 9, North Korea reportedly quarantines thousands as outbreak concerns rise. North Korea reportedly has quarantined thousands of people and shipped relief supplies to a locked-down southern city as evidence mounts that the isolated communist-run nation is not coronavirus-free, as it has claimed. The country announced in late July that it has imposed its, quote, maximum emergency system, end quote, to prevent the virus from spreading after acknowledging its first COVID-19 case in Kaesong City, near its border with South Korea. State media has reported that the apparent infection prompted North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to order a total lockdown of Kaesong. Foreign experts have long been skeptical of Pyongyang's claim that it had no coronavirus cases, which seemed unlikely because North Korea shares a porous border with China, where the first outbreak was reported. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 10, Lebanon arrests 16 in connection with deadly port explosion. Lebanese authorities on Thursday arrested 16 people over the massive explosion at Beirut's port that killed at least 137 people. A day earlier, the Lebanese government had placed port officials under house arrest pending the results of an investigation into why 2,750 tons of highly explosive ammonium nitrate had been stored in warehouses without safety mechanisms. Human Rights Watch urged Lebanese authorities to let international experts conduct an independent investigation because of mounting evidence that officials knew ammonium nitrate was stored at the port but did nothing about it. Quote, if officials did in fact have notification of a clear threat to life and failed to take reasonable steps to address that threat, then they are responsible for the unlawful deaths, end quote, Human Rights Watch said. This is according to CBS News and UPI. That's 10 things you need to know today for Friday, August 7th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I know I stumbled a little bit. Well, a little bit, a lot of it. But I like to learn some stuff. And while I'm learning stuff, hey, I'll crack the mic open, put the camera on, and you can watch me while I stumble through things and maybe learn along with me. But if you're trying to get all your news from me, I encourage you not to. That's why I put the footnotes at the bottom, let you know where those news sources came from. So you can look up and read along, read with me or look up more information. I encourage you to do so. Always, always be learning. ABL. I need to find up with maybe like an ABC. ABC, always be closing. Nope, that doesn't work here. All right. I guess I'm rambling now. Hey, make sure you visit with me tonight at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, or tomorrow night at the Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas. This has been What Makes You Smarter. If you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.